Hi, this is Richard Roseman, VP of Mortgage Lending at Guaranteed Rate Affinity. I am here to discuss my Unmasking Mortgage series. This is episode 3, or what I like to refer to as Breath 3. We're going to be talking about the housing market and how to get your offer accepted, or refer to it as tips to winning the bidding war. So if we could just take a moment to welcome one of my guests here, somebody you'll recognize that knows a little bit about winning. Here he is, Tom Brady. Yes, indeed. He, in fact, knows a lot about winning, and he also knows that he didn't do it on his own. He had a phenomenal team he was a part of, and that's one of the first key attributes to winning a bid in this housing market today. And if you were to look at your screen right now, you'll see that there are a few key areas that can be contributing to your success. So tips to winning a bidding war. Now, there's a few different categories you can look at here. Work with a great agent. I'm going to get into that a little bit. Upping your offer, being prepared. Can't stress that enough. From the very beginning, being prepared. Understand contingencies, button up your dates, the whole timeline involved with the transaction. And then something that's very common today is writing a personal letter, but I'm going to add my own little twist to that that might even help it become more strong for you. So let's go into the details of each. And looking at this on your screen now, step 1, as I mentioned, having a top tier agent in your corner is exceptionally important, especially because those agents have compiled and formed a strong team to support you. I like to look at it as almost a NASCAR pit crew. You got the agent, the nucleus of the whole process. Then you got a top tier, #1 recognized and respected lender. That would be me, Guaranteed Rate Affinity. You got a closing attorney, a home inspector, an insurance agent, and other key people that are all working to make sure that this transaction works like a fine oiled machine. So you can cross that finish line and we all get to wave that checkered flag for you that day. So how do we get prepared? Well, that's very important from day one, making sure you have a proper current pre-approval letter that can be as strong as possible for you. So in part of doing that, you want to make sure you maintain all of your documents in an electronic format that's easily accessible, that you're contributing to on a regular basis. Avoid any adverse credit situations, like opening and closing any trade lines or credit cards. You don't want to do that. You're going to want to check with me in advance if you have to make any changes to that. Same thing for employment or income or assets. Always check with me, your lender, before you decide to make any changes, because you'd be surprised at what adverse situations can take place. Now, if you are selling a home as well, your agent's going to advise you and confirm this as well, that you need to make sure all repairs are done and that it's staged as soon as possible. Get your down payment funds well organized and in place, especially if they're coming from multiple assets or gifts or different people. You gotta take the time now to make sure it's all well organized and prepared. If you have large deposits in any of those assets that aren't clearly recognized or where the source is defined from, you're going to want to make sure you can explain those and document them as well in advance. And if you've had any employment changes, any job change or compensation structure changes, make sure it's not adversely affecting your eligibility either. Sometimes compensation structures have changed where maybe you're 100% salary and now it's 50% salary and then commission. You will have a problem if that's the case. Run it by me as well. Now, some other key areas or tactics, that ever so special letter that you as a buyer writes to the seller. That's where you're going to hit on your emotions of why this home is so perfect for you. And try to find out as much as you can about the seller as well, because that seller may have some soft spots as well that you can hit on in that letter. But my own little twist on this as well is that you can try to emphasize how strong of a buyer you are in that letter as well. And I won't do this if I speak to anybody because all your information is private and confidential. But if you want to divulge some key points in your letter, like how high of a credit score you have, how many years you've been in this profession, or how long you've been at your company, your specific title or position, how many months reserves you might have, and anything that could strengthen and prove to that seller that this deal is going to work for you. They don't have to worry about the financing not coming together. You could emphasize in that letter for you. The other thing is, often you have to understand the benefits and disadvantages or risks of the contingencies being waived. So from the start, you have some key contingencies. When is the home inspection going to be done? When will you be signing the purchase and sales agreement? The mortgage contingency or the financing commitment letter, and the closing date. Those are all key dates. Some of those you can waive, and that will make you more enticing to the seller. They have to understand the risks with those, and your realtor, your closing attorney, even myself, can help you understand the benefits and risks of all those being waived. Now, the timeline is also very important. In this environment, as a good alternative to just providing the highest offer, is trying to make sure you can create a very tight timeline, because often what's appealing to sellers is being able to close quickly. With us being one of the top 5 correspondent lenders in the country and having offices all locally and a tremendous support staff in place, we are able to close quicker than most lenders. In fact, if you are well prepared and we've done our job up front with properly pre-approving you, we can close in 30 days or less, 3 weeks or less. I mean, you name it, we're going to be working in your corner to get this done so your offer can be accepted. Now, in addition to that, often your top dollar offer is going to be what catches the eye of the seller. And often sellers want top dollar. I mean, if you were in their shoes, you would as well. You may not always be able to provide top dollar offer compared to others, but take your best step forward, figure out what you're going to be comfortable with as your top offer in advance, understand what that monthly payment might be as well, and then let your realtor know that that's what you're willing to do for a top offer. Keep an open mind, because this process is like nothing ever any of us have experienced in the industry yet, because the amount of inventory is at the lowest it's ever been historically, and the amount of buyers that are competing out there at the highest ever. But when you have a strong tier team in place helping you, you're going to increase your chances of getting your offer accepted and have a very competitive leg up on any other buyers. So be ready to decide fast, because you will have to make decisions fast, because many great homes, especially their first open house weekend, will go fast. And then again, put your best foot forward right from the start, and that's a matter of preparation and having a right team in place. Now, there are some alternatives here that often come up, and that's about putting the largest down payment down. And, you know, that's something that I think is misunderstood by sellers, because it doesn't necessarily mean you're a stronger buyer with a larger down payment. Because I can tell you, I work with buyers of all sorts, and people with the largest down payment don't necessarily have the best credit, or could be on the verge of having their debt ratio just trickle a little bit too high and they can't qualify. So that could be an issue. There's so many great buyers out there, first time and repeat buyers that have phenomenal employment and income, but just haven't had the opportunity to accumulate a large savings. But if you are one of those people that do have a large savings and you're hesitant about depleting your funds, you do have an option, something you can be more comfortable with if you want to become a cash buyer, because we do have something that's called delayed financing. And you can utilize this after you've made your cash offer and closed by coming back to me and saying, all right, we won the offer, we closed with cash. Now, Rich, I need you to take advantage of the situation and help us get that money back. Well, you can do that through delayed financing. And the 6-month seasoning period for title is not imposed there. We can refinance you right away. And depending upon your criteria, often you can get 75 to 80% of the purchase price in cash out of the home and reinvest it wherever you may have taken it from. So I hope that's helpful. I want to hear from you as well, see if you've had any success and can share some of those with me so that other buyers who have had some struggles might find a way to get their offers accepted. So next time, you may not see this guy, but of course he's going to be wearing a different uniform. Thanks, Tom, for all your guidance. And this is Richard Roseman, VP of Mortgage Lending, Guaranteed Rate Affinity, signing out until the next Unmasking video series. Reach me anytime at 781-910-8280. Again, if you have missed that number or my contact information, take a look at the screen again. Richard Roseman, VP Mortgage Lending, Guaranteed Rate Affinity, 781-910-8280. I work days and nights and weekends because I'm here to support you. That's all. Thank you again. Bye-bye.